Hello, my fellow duelists. We are here to discuss set rotations and why set rotations are not a good idea, and how you could make set rotations work in a way that would make sense, but doing set rotation in the way that the game is built right now. The reason why set rotation works in other card games is they have a resource system, and it's a lot easier for you to reset the power level, right? With Yu-Gi-Oh, because you can have unlimited special summonings, if you made, same thing with searching and drawing, you usually get unlimited drawing, unlimited searching, and unlimited special summoning. And instead of thinking about set rotations, we should be thinking about what mechanics are different between low-powered Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels and high-powered Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels. Usually the three most important mechanics, especially these first two mechanics, and not necessarily this third one, but the very most important one for any modern deck to be somewhat successful is it has to be able to do a certain amount of special summons per turn. Now, it does vary between era to era. If you go to, say, classic era of Yu-Gi-Oh!, special summoning wasn't very important. So you didn't really have to worry about it. Middle area of Yu-Gi-Oh, you kind of had to start thinking about it a little bit more. And now we're at the point where we are today where you have the special summoning. Now we're going to talk about searching. Again, same thing. Early Yu-Gi-Oh, it wasn't necessarily necessary towards mid Yu-Gi-Oh. It became necessary, and now in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, it's very necessary. Now we're going to be talking about drawing and why drawing effects are super easy to mitigate. At any given time, there should only ever be between 2 to 3 draw cards, be it triple tactic talents or pot of extravagance, and we'll say duality, or even Pot of Greed and just Graceful Charity. Those are the only 2 draw cards you can play. And you, of course, keep the trap draw cards because, well, again, they're trap cards. And they're slower and a lot more fair. Now, we're going to go back to the first mechanic that makes most modern decks super hard to beat and super good. Special summoning. If you limit special summoning, or you make it to where you cannot special summon for the first 6 turns, this makes the game, 1, slower, 2, harder to just kill your opponent in 1 turn, because that's what everyone's looking for. And the easiest way to do that is to limit special summoning to so many per turn, or make it to where the first 6 turns there's no special summoning at all. The game would instantly look more like, of course, older school Yu-Gi-Oh! And it would make you have to think about what you put in your deck, because you just wouldn't want to fill your deck with a bunch of cards that special summon themselves to the field, because it would clog your hand up too quickly, because you would want to use their special summoning ability. They essentially become a normal monster. meaning you would have to pick a balance between how many special summoning cards do I put in to how many I don't put in. So let's say you're playing a fusion deck. It's like, okay, how much of fusion materials do I want to put in? Same thing with sync, same with all the extra deck mechanics. You instantly make the game playable. You don't fix power creep. There's no real way to fix it, but it's a way to mitigate it, because if you're not allowed to special summon on your first turn really matters at what you do, and deck building becomes more important. Now, of course, if you limit special summoning, you inherently limit searching, because a lot of special summoning monsters do a lot of searching. And in turn, you also end up doing a lot of drawing. You also draw a lot less. But this would make drawing cards very important, but they're super easy to mitigate via the banned list. If you were not allowed to special summon for the first 6 turns, deck building becomes incredibly important in what you do, and also controlling what you have in your hand, because your hand size, if you fill your deck with a bunch of monsters that need to be special summoned, and you have no, say, easy way to tribute summon them out, they're just going to clog your hand very quickly. And I think that's a much better fix than set rotations, because it's a much more long-term fix. Of course, there will be a card that can probably special summon on your first turn, and then it would just ruin that rule. But if you limit the amount of times the players can special summon, or you have them wait so many turns to special summon, and you can honestly do this. You can do this experiment in real life. Take 2 decks that like to special summon a bunch of monsters and say, the first 6 turns we're not allowed to special summon, and see how fast your hand builds up with monsters that are unusable. And that's pretty much it. What I have to say about set rotations is, the final thing I have to say about set rotations is you would have to limit the amount of times you can special summon for set rotations to even work. Because there will be a certain point where if your deck doesn't special summon, it doesn't matter. The only reason why this deck is somewhat playable against a lot of decks is because it does X amount of special summonings. I am guaranteed to get X amount of special summonings. Yes, it does kind of matter what you special summonings, but the lower tier you get, it really just depends on how many you can special summon. And most top tier modern decks all have this in common. They all like to special summon a bunch of monsters. Watch any video and count how many times they special summon in one turn. They are guaranteed to special summon more than 3 times. And that's pretty much all I have to say on that. Have a nice day, guys.